Now that we know what the site's goals are, now it's actually time to get to the fun part. We're going to start looking into finding out where our potential audience is. And this goes a little bit hand in hand with actually finding ideas. So what I like to do is to start generating a lot of ideas about where I can find the audience. And then as I'm going through, I'm going to start getting ideas. And so I like to grab those as I go along, throw them into an Excel spreadsheet. I don't worry about making it pretty. I don't worry about prioritizing it or looking into any methods at this point. Purely right now, I want to find out where my audience is and if I can extract ideas for how to find traffic using any of those sources quickly, I do that. Otherwise, I save that for the next step. It's all about products, all about pictures. These kittens are going to play into people's emotions. I mean, come on, who doesn't love cute kittens? It doesn't really matter what mood you're in. The kittens can help put a smile on your face. So that's what we want to focus on, being able to play into people's emotions and get these cute kittens in front of them. So what I like to do is just start by doing some Google searching, getting an idea of what people are looking for, where they're finding these pictures. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to go to Google. I want to type in just some general keywords. And now when I say keywords, I'm not talking about SEO, search engine optimization here. I'm more so focusing on just general keywords that I think are relevant to the brand, relevant to the website. What might somebody type in and if they wanted to find this sort of picture or this sort of product, service, etc. So I'm going to start with one keyword. I'm going to put in kitten pictures. Okay, and now I'm not going to just do this one search and go off of this. I'm going to look at many different keywords to get some different ideas. But you'll see here, I put in kitten pictures and of course it pops up a bunch of kitten pictures. So you can see here that these people are ranking in Google Images up here, but I'm more interested in going down and seeing what sites come up. So here, the very first one we have is BuzzFeed. So if I head over to that post, I can see that they have compiled a whole list of 100 different kitten pictures here. Now, what I want to pay attention to is where, since this is BuzzFeed, I know they're not the ones actually producing these images. I want to see where they're getting these images from. So here, they're getting it from Imgur. And we can keep going down. This is a zoo blog. This is the Berry. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep scrolling down here and I'll get some different ideas. There's another Imgur. So obviously there's 100 of these and I keep seeing Imgur continually coming up. So that's what I'm going to want to throw on my list because I see it repeatedly on this site. So they're clearly going to Imgur and looking for images. So as you can see with each one that we come to, sometimes it's a personal photographer. Here we have a Flickr, but Imgur continually comes up over and over again. This one was Creative Commons from Flickr. Imgur, Reddit. So you really don't need to skip over any of the sources that are only seen one time or two times. But obviously, if you're seeing something that's repeated as much as Imgur right here, that's something you're going to want to note down. There I just saw Instagram, so that's another big picture site, Instagram again. And knowing that Instagram is huge, that's what I'm going to want to note on my list. So again, we can grab some of the other image sources and we can throw them on our list. We can take a look at those if we're not familiar with them and see if that's a potential place as well. So continuing to scroll through, I'm seeing a pattern between Instagram, Imgur, and I'm going to note all of those down here. Now, since this list is compiled, I would love to be able to get a picture from this site, even if it's not the same one as a product, on this list or a similar list to this. So if you go down to the bottom, you can always look down here to see if there's a place where you can submit an image or you can get in contact with someone from BuzzFeed to offer your contribution. And so that's what I would do for that. It gives me an idea of there's a lot of pictures likely going on in Imgur and Instagram for kitten photos. So those may be sources where I want to create a profile, add some images potentially. As I mentioned, I want to go over to my spreadsheet. I want to throw in the ideas there, and then I don't worry about anything else at this point. I don't want to stop looking into it. I'm purely trying to find where my audience is spending their time, and I can pull out ideas I find along the way, but no research further than that is being done. So I want to go back to Google and I want to continue down this list. I see there's Animal Planet, there's Pixabay. Of course, this has a lot of images, but they're not linking back to the authors as far as I know, so that's not going to do us a lot of good. Here again, we have Huffington Post. So here we have Huffington Post. This section is all about kittens. And this one is rather just a compilation of different articles that are being pulled together. So I could find one that is potentially relevant, and I see that they accept comments, so we may be able to go and leave comments on some of these posts. And then of course I can link back to our site there. But in clicking through to some of these, you're going to be able to get a better idea of the impact of the traffic source, because a lot of these big sites will show, for instance, like here on the left-hand side, how many actual social shares it has. So you can see just how popular it is and how many times it's really gotten out there. Okay, now with this post here, I can see who this is actually written by. There's a link to their profile there, and then I can see that she's focusing on a particular photographer here, and that link is actually going right back to his site. So when we go through and look at all these different posts here, they're all linking back to his site. It all shows that it's the photographer's work. So this would be great if there was a post about this. Now this photographer for this site has taken all of these photos from kittens that had a little bit of a rough start. They were orphaned and they needed human care because they didn't have a mother for whatever reason. And so someone was able to step in and to care for them until they were old enough to be able to be adopted by a permanent home. And so this may be an opportunity to get in touch with some of the editors like this on Huffington Post or other sites and talk about that story and share some of the images and really just, I guess, bring awareness to being able to adopt kittens versus going out and purchasing kittens from a store or from a private breeder. So that could bring awareness to what the photographer is doing and what they're working on. So that's something else that I would note down as well. Now, another thing that I like to do is look down here in the related searches. So I do go on to, let's say, the second page. I see what other pages I can actually come up with. This is I Can Has Cheeseburger, which is extremely popular website, and it just shows funny pictures. And so this might be something as well where it shows you can actually submit your image. So that's something that we could note down as well. But pictures of kittens, this is all about pictures of animals here. So this would be a great place to potentially look into to get featured in front of all of their followers. Look at how many likes they have on their Facebook page. So there's a lot of opportunity there as well. So, but going back here, I can click on funny kitten pictures. So on the website, there's some, obviously some of these are very cute, but I believe it was in the posters. There's some where it shows the kittens actually looking like they're laughing. So here we have the laugh every day. And so some of those could be considered funny photos. So we could click on funny kitten pictures and again, look at some of these results. So again, these ones here, these have text on them, so we could always put some captions. Some of the posters that are actually offered have some text on them too, just put them in a little bit of context, make them a little bit funnier. So this is something that I would now go through again and look to see if I can find any funny photos or photos that we could put some text on, add a little caption to, and submit to any of these sites as well. So here we have Pinterest, and here it says funny kittens. So this is a link I would follow because obviously Pinterest is all about sharing images. So you can see there's all types here. Now, what I would do is go through here. I want to look for any groups where I might be able to submit to. I want to see how many of these are actually getting shared, getting pinned. So you can see here, like this one has 145,000 pins. where this one just has 1.3. So you can go through and you can see which groups here. Here, this one is funny pictures of the day. So that might be a group where you could post to, gets 8,000 pins. So obviously the more pins you can get, the more your images is going to get shared. And of course you are going to be able to link back to the site. So Pinterest, of course, being another image site for us, is going to be a great place to look into. Now, I do just go through maybe the first page, second page of different ideas here, and I look. Some of them are not going to be good at all. Some of them might be really good. Here, if you're looking for cute kitten pictures or funny kitten pictures, you're on the right website. So this one has 71,000 likes. You can see here there's a submit button where you can get in touch to send in your work. But what I would want to look through is clicking on this. Here I see this is 7 months old, but then it was 2 months old, 3 months old. So I'm not sure how active they are. But when I go through and look, there's nowhere that the image actually links back to the photographer. They just put their own URL here. So I don't know if this is an image that they took or if this is an image that was actually submitted, but this is a possibility to get in touch with them and see if they'll actually give you a link back to your site. So I think you get the gist here. I'm not going to keep doing Google searches with you because I think you understand the concept here. But again, I'm just putting in keywords, cute kittens. Another one that I would want to put in is, once I find where people are just looking for images, is I want to go in, and since we actually want people to purchase products, is I want to do some searches around where people are actually going to purchase kitten pictures or kitten gifts. And so here I can look and see that, here they're selling kittens, which is not what we're trying to do. But here it just brings up a lot of stock photos, so that's not what we're trying to do. But I'll go through here a couple of the pages and see if anything comes up. Again, I can look at any related searches, none come up here, but I can try kitten gifts or different buyer intent keywords that I'm looking for. Now, this comes up as Amazon, which is another point that I was going to bring up, is I like to go to Amazon as well and see if people are looking for any products related to what I'm offering. So if you have an informational site, look and see what information is already being sold on Amazon around that information. If you are selling products or services, look at what information is out there. So here on Amazon, it's bringing up different cat products. So we have posters over here. This is actually a framed picture. So this might be an opportunity to see, take that out. So this is an opportunity to see what products are actually selling. You can see which ones are highly rated, go through. I look at the reviews. What are they saying? What's good? What's bad? That way you have an idea of what your audience likes and what they don't like. So that's very important for knowing your product. So if they say, oh, I really don't like the paper that this was printed on, or something to do with the quality, or just whatever they say, you have to be open to the feedback that they're giving. This one has only 3.5 stars. Why? What's the difference between this one and this one having 5 stars? So go in, see what's making people happy. That's going to give you a lot of information about what to do well for you, but it's also going to see what are people buying. So typically it's not going to show you the number of sales here, but it is going to show you what the reviews are. The higher number of views, typically the higher number of sales. So you can get an idea of what people are actually purchasing too. And then look at the descriptions. What wording is being used to actually sell those products? So again, whether you have information, products, services, this is all information that you can use in order to better sell what it is that you're offering. If you have certain products, like for example, with the site we're dealing with, there are other marketplaces out there. So I could go over to Etsy, which is a marketplace all about art, basically. You have clothing, jewelry, crafts, weddings, all types of things here. So what I can do is I'll just do a basic search for kittens and see what comes up around it. Now the difference with Etsy is that if I actually click through, let's see, here's just a random picture. I'll click through on this one. Now this one tells me, of course, the price. It gives me some keywords. And it also tells me feedback, how many people left reviews, how many people actually favorited this image because they really like it, they're thinking about purchasing it. And this one is actually an instant digital download. So now the person can download it and then they can print it off themselves. So that might be something that the website owner can use as an idea for additional products. Maybe they want to get on Etsy themselves, offer digital products, or even sell the products to be shipped out to the customer. So this is an option, but somewhere on here, now these products don't say individually how many sales they have, I believe. However, if you click through to the actual photographer here or the seller, it shows you that they have 1,800 sales. So you can see obviously here it's showing that they have a lot of different products on here. But it's helpful if you can find any sellers that have specific types of art that is around what we are doing. So if somebody was exclusively selling kittens, we can look and see when they joined Etsy and then how many sales they have, what the reviews are, and that can give us a lot of good information about what's selling really well. But I do see here that their portfolio here is split pretty much half and half between this landscape art and the black and white animals. Obviously they have plenty of others, but this could still give me some good information. Now, another site that popped up when I was searching was Reddit. And so what I did is put in Reddit kittens. If you're not familiar with Reddit, they have just about every subcategory, which they call subreddits, out there that are possible. So I put in Reddit kittens and look at how many subreddits it came up. We have kittens, kitten, kitten gifts, kitten games, cat gifts, aw. So there's so many here, soldiers with kittens, exploding kittens. There's just so many here that we can look at. So now we can go into these subreddits. We can see which ones are the most active, which ones that we think we could best contribute to, and see how we can participate in some of these communities and get a link back to our site and get people clicking through. Now, and one thing that I mentioned when talking about doing some Google searches and doing buyer intent keywords is I want to look for gift ideas. A lot of people can purchase these as fun gift ideas for someone who's a cat lover. So going through here, look at this, 23 great ideas for cat lovers. Almost 400,000 views on this page with 33,000 likes. So that is a tremendous number of likes. Here we have 8.2 million shares. So this is something that we would love to be able to get on. So you can see here they list the image, and then here there is a link to buy. So here this is going to eBay. Okay, so eBay is something we haven't looked at. That's something we can add to our list. Again, we don't need to research it at this time, but we can get an idea of what's out there. This one is from Amazon, and then here there's 7 more pages, so we can go and continue looking at that. Now here there is some comments. So here it says another great place to shop for cat lovers is, and of course somebody's promoting their own. So we could do the same. We can comment in here, and we can also go to some of these sites to see if they would be worthwhile to maybe partner with, somehow get our content in front of their audience if they have one, and see what we can do. Now we can also try to reach out here. This one is by Linda D, and see if there's maybe a possibility to get our product listed here or on a new post that's coming up. But there's a place here to add post. So anytime you see that, that's definitely something you want to note down, grabbing the link, throwing it into your spreadsheet here. So here we have Etsy coming up, Bored Panda we looked at, Huffington Post we had looked at earlier, Amazon. So here we have heavy.com. So when you're starting to see a lot of repetition through your keywords, here let's see, Suddenly Cat, that's one that was actually, that one commented on the Bored Panda post we just looked at. So when you're starting to see a lot of repetition back and forth, then that's when you can kind of start to slow down and say, okay, let me take a step back. I'm seeing the same patterns. I know where the audience now is, and let me see what ideas I can now use to actually start generating some of this traffic. But before we do that, a couple other things that I'm going to list out. I'm just going to mention these, and then I'm going to let you explore them because it's really the same type of thing. It's just going to produce some different results. So here I'm putting in a keyword. So again, this could be kitten pictures, cat lover, cat gifts, kitten gifts, different keywords, and then parentheses, I'm going to put forums. And I'm going to go out and see what forums exist. So I might be able to post on here, or I could see what people are talking about, what they're looking for. But you have the cat site, I Love Cats, Cat Forum, Facebook community, Catsy. There's so many different forums here all about cats. What I see here? Cat Lover Gifts World. Okay, perfect. So that's one thing to do. You can also look for blogs. We could look for free cat wallpaper since we have some wallpaper. So again, all types of ideas here. With the free cat wallpaper, since we offer that, we can go through and see if any of these would allow us to submit our own wallpaper and be able to get a link back to our site potentially so people can make a purchase or download directly from us. So again, this should just get your mind going. You should just be looking at all of the different possibilities that are out there, brainstorming them, and just kind of doing a dump into your Excel spreadsheet, not organizing, not stopping to look into anything. You're solely just spending, let's say, 30 minutes, an hour, looking through these different searches and coming up with as long of a list as possible about where your audience is, and you can worry about pulling the traffic ideas from that next.